We are here on Real Estate in Lowcountry. With me is Meg Herman. She is with our friends at Goosehead Insurance, and we have something very interesting to talk about today, and that is the National Flood Insurance Program that is really not anymore at the moment.
Well, the government is shut down, right?
Right.
And the National Flood Insurance Program is a federally funded program of FEMA that provides 98% of flood insurance policies for policyholders in the United States.
And of course, we are policyholders in a place that most of us need flood insurance.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting stat, 20% of the policies in the National Flood Insurance Program are in Florida.
Okay.
So you can imagine the coast also sort of follows that trend. So here, here on our barrier island in Hilton Head and certainly Bluffton, Beaufort, this is the Lowcountry. So flood insurance is really important to us because we have a lot of high-risk areas.
Yeah.
A high-risk zone is a zone that starts with an A or a V, everyone's zone, also dictated by FEMA, would indicate whether or not your risk is high or low for flooding.
Okay.
However, I feel like if you're walking on planet Earth, we all live in a flood zone. It's just whether how risky is it?
It is, right.
But based on that, if you are in an A zone, your home's located in an A zone, it would be required by a mortgage company that you would have flood insurance.
Okay.
And so significantly in our area, those policies are with the National Flood Insurance Program and some private insurance companies as of late. But interestingly now, that because the National Flood Insurance Program is expired, there are no new policies being issued in the National Flood Insurance Program, and they are not being renewed as of today.
Okay.
So key thing is if you have a renewal already like in your mailbox and your mortgage company has the renewal to be paid, it can continue. So those will be honored. And then from the perspective of the renewal of these policies, time is of the essence, right? It's possible that you might not get a renewal.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what mortgage companies will do in response to that.
Right.
I'm sort of concerned about the idea that on our island and in our area, we have quite a few policies that I call legacy policies. Some people call them grandfathered.
Yeah.
But they're policies that were written before 2021, October of 2021. And at that point, FEMA started a new rating program called Flood 2.0.
Okay.
The legacy rates are much more advantageous than the new 2.0 rates. So there could be some concern here with our homeowners losing these really advantageous flood policies.
So, you could see, like we saw with our homeowners policies, we could see a significant increase.
So the private market is solving big problems. These are insurance companies that are offering flood insurance, which is a really difficult peril to deal with. This is why homeowners policies don't cover flood insurance.
Right.
In case we never mentioned that in the past, homeowners policies
do not cover
flood insurance. Unless that company owns a private flood insurance company, and then sometimes you can get flood insurance as a part of your homeowners. But generally that peril is dealt with separately. And because it's so tricky, the national government stepped in the 70s and created this program.
Right. But now we're having maybe to revert back to
private.
Right.
So we do see private flood companies that are present. Sometimes they can offer a rate that is good and maybe even sometimes better than the National Flood Insurance Program.
Interesting, okay.
But my recommendation to people whose flood insurance policies are starting to renew in November, December, January is, get out ahead of the curve and start looking at this.
Yes.
Maybe a private flood option might be something that's good for you. And, just from perspective is keep an eye on what's happening, with your flood insurance and what your mortgage company has to say. About that policy, especially if they require it.
Right. Well, I was just going to say that. I interestingly didn't really know that there was such thing as private flood insurance. Now I do.
Yeah.
But so if somebody really is in that spot right now where it's, they're kind of in limbo, calling somebody like you have all the options at your fingertips.
Right. So number one, remember, if you've got a renewal already for the National Flood Insurance Program, you can pay it and it'll work.
Okay.
And then in the past, government shutdowns have actually sort of gone back, and they've been able to pick up the slack and renew those policies just late.
Right.
So that's a good thing, but we don't know what the government's going to do.
So
I'm just here to offer you, get in touch with your agent.
Yeah.
If that's the right step, and look at the private options so that you can make sure that your home is insured for flood.
Well, Meg, you always open our eyes to something interesting when you come on, so thank you for this today. We appreciate the information.
Good to be here. Thank you.